Welcome to our Zoom audience and our Facebook audience to our virtual Doctors Night Out. And I'm going to introduce our guest, Dr. Kellyann.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Kellyann Petrucci, your host of Doctors Night Out. We are changing things up this summer, and we will be going live on Monday nights and Thursday nights to accommodate everyone going out, going crazy all summer. We hope you have a wonderful summer. But for now, most people who know me know that I am a foodie. I love food. And I love to really introduce people to a whole new world of eating. That is to show everyone how amazing you can make a table, how amazing you can feel eating foods that are actually really good for you. In fact, I think one of the reasons why the paleo movement really struck fire the way it did is because people found it really interesting and really fun and really cool to actually start cooking the foods. I think that's what really set it off on fire. And today I'm really happy to have with me Chef Dave Cohen. Chef, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
So I'm excited. I love this guy because he really breaks it down, and his whole thing is, hey, I love this. Hey, it worked for me, and I'm going to make this easy for you. And that's what he's done. And he knows, as well as every other expert that's been on this show on Doctors Night Out, is that most of the people that you will find on the show, they are people I know, love, and trust. These are people that are always working on their growth to better serve you. They are your true seekers. And tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to have a little cocktail party because we know you're all itching. You're all itching to finally get out there. You know, we have been inside for a long time, and now we're going out and we're having barbecues. We're doing all kind of fun events, and people are starting to get together. I'm going to toast with you, Dave. Cheers. I'm going to toast with Zevia. This is like a sparkling water that kind of tastes like cream soda, but it's really not. But I love it. So this is going to be my toast tonight.
I like it.
It's delicious. So cheers, my friend.
Cheers.
Cheers.
For a fun night.
A fun night, and cheers to all of you this evening that are going to be watching, and you're going to be learning a lot about why paleo is really one of the best ways that you can choose to cook in your kitchen. I promise you, it's anti-inflammatory. It makes you feel so energized. It certainly makes you look amazing, and there are so many more benefits to talk about. So we're getting a buzz. Does anyone else hear that?
I hear that.
Where is that buzz coming from? I don't know where that buzz is coming from.
Is there a fire?
Not for me, there's not.
Second, let me figure out how to fix that. Sorry, everyone.
Okay. Sorry, guys. There's a buzz. Okay, it stopped. So
Beautiful.
Let's get started. Let's get right into this. You know, this is technology. This is live technology. Things happen all the time. We are going to get right into it. I want to tell you one of the things that I enjoy the most. Dave, tell me if you feel this way. I love breaking bread with people I care about. And if you were to ask me, what is the thing that you enjoy to do more than anything else? I would absolutely tell you unequivocally, it would be breaking bread with people that I love spending time with. So here is a little poem. There is something profoundly satisfying about sharing a meal and eating together. Breaking bread together is one of the oldest and most fundamentally unifying of all human experiences. And so tonight, in the spirit of that, we are going to get going. And I want to ask Dave a couple of questions. So Dave, your Instagram handle, which everyone should go to right now because he is always putting recipes. If you care about recipes and really delicious, healthy recipes, My Paleoish Life. My Paleoish Life is Dave's handle. And you call it, again, paleo-ish. Why not just paleo? What's the ish part?
Exactly. So I've been your classic kind of yo-yo dieter. You know, I think so many people have felt that way, right? I kind of was in corporate America for 7 years. So, you know, everyone, you know, doing their juice cleanses and then, you know, binge eating for a week or two. And, you know, it's this constant cycle. There's never change. You know, I fell into the trap numerous times. So finally, like, I wanted to find something that was going to stick. So I've always, you know, I started cooking when I was 7. I've always had a love for it. Went to college, like I said, corporate America. I kind of lost touch with it. But finally, I discovered paleo. So I actually read The Paleo Cure by Chris Kressler. So that kind of was the introduction. And I think what's cool with that book, if you're familiar, it's basically like a long-term plan, right? He eases you into it. So like say, for example, if you're eating, half your plate is rice, you know what I mean? Like he says, start to maybe do a quarter, right? Do that for like a week or two.
He meets people where they are. He meets people where they are. And I think that's really important because one of the things that I find in doing this for so long is that people get afraid. They don't want to make the change. Mm-hmm. They don't want to feel overwhelmed. And so you can ease into this. My opinion, to be really honest with you, my opinion is just start trying it, go full Monty, because the quicker that you can get that inflammation out of your body, the better. And you really don't miss anything. The key to the key to all this, guys, is to not hit a wall. And what I mean by that is you have to have energy stores. Where people go wrong in their food plans is they get weak, they get tired, and they feel like they just can't keep up with this because they're not satisfied and they're weak. So what I love about paleo, it's got those right macros in there, right? It's got the right of protein, carbs, and fats. So you tend not to hit a wall. So tell me, what do you find that when you're cooking for people, what do you find the biggest hurdle for people in starting to eat this way?
I would think perception. You know what I mean? Like if you have, say, like an Italian, right, that grew up, grandma's homemade pasta and everything, and you say, I'm going to cook you zoodles, you know what I mean? Or butternut squash noodles.
I love zoodles. They're great.
Exactly. So I think it's that roadblock, right? A lot of people put up walls that think, oh, if it's just vegetables, it can't be good, or I'm not going to get full. But I think the beauty of a lot of my dishes is I look at the original first, meaning if I'm making like a lasagna or if I'm making, stir fries or what have you, I'm always looking at the authentic way that they originated, right? So then I'm pulling spice mixes. I'm thinking of, say, arrowroot starch, instead of cornstarch. So I'm doing modifications to make it my own and to make it delicious. But a lot of times, like say friends or family that don't know about paleo, when they try my dishes, they're like, wow, that tastes incredible. And that's the biggest misconception I'm trying to get past with people is that healthy eating doesn't have to be boring. You know what I mean? It could taste delicious and you're not going to really miss, the non-paleo foods. Once you
can get pretty close. I think the taste, you're pretty close. And if you're saying, I still have to have my pasta, there's dishes that you have to have. It's not never. It's not never. It's the thing. Once you start eating really healthy and you get that mucosal lining, you get the lining of your gut straightened out, you get the microbes working, your gut is healthy and healing, the inflammation's down, you become a natural fat burner. Then everything starts turning around and you can have fairy dust. You can have those foods once in a while. But for the percent of your diet, if you can eat this way and really learn to enjoy it, then you're all set. How do you get friends and family on board with this? Well, let's talk about family. How do you get family on board?
Yeah, I think that's probably been the most exciting part about going into this venture. And because right now it's just Instagram, but behind the scenes I'm working on Paleoish.com, so to have a full-blown lifestyle site. So I mean, even for example, family and friends, to see kind of their shit, like even college friends that I have, we'd be eating pizza every night. Like they're cooking my recipes now. My family, I think it's kind of just having them try it, right? Obviously, if I'm cooking, my parents are going to eat it. So that's the first thing. They're going to eat the food, right? So, but I think to your point earlier, it's like over time, you're going to see how good you feel, just naturally, right? Just eating natural foods to where you're not going to want those other foods as much.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Once you clean out the gut and exactly. So I think that's the biggest thing. Like a lot of it, I'm cooking, right? So my family will come over. They're going to eat when I'm cooking. So that's going to relay into their lifestyle. And it has. And I would say that's been one of the coolest things that's come out of this. Seeing kind of the changes occur, even with my parents, the way they kind of ate, the way they're eating now and kind of like adapting and, siblings. So, making cauliflower rice now and zoodles. So yeah, it's kind of neat. You know, it starts this way.
I think cauliflower pizza changed the world. I think the globe started spinning on a different axis the day that cauliflower pizza came out. All these people that wanted pizza for so long, and now you can really make an unbelievably good pizza. So here's
definitely.
Right now, people are really, feeling a little bit of like their purses are closed tight, because there's a lot of people that, since we just went through this crisis, don't have the extra funds. What is happening with food prices also? They're going up. Can you make this on a budget?
You can. I think that's the biggest thing that's cool now, is that, I think like restaurants, grocery stores, they're going to adapt to what the consumer wants, right? You're kind of already seeing that with Chipotle, right? They have the whole 30 menu now. You know what I mean? So it's like that stuff's starting to happen. And I think, it's kind of known that, go grass-fed, and a lot of these principles are getting out to the audience. So now, you could go into like a Sprouts, you can get a pound or two of grass-fed ground beef for like $5. It might be $1 or $2 more than regular. You know what I mean? You could get ground turkey, you could get ground chicken. Buy stuff
on sale and stock up.
Yeah, chicken thigh. You know what I mean? So
you get used to it. You just start, once you start getting into this lifestyle, at first there's a learning curve like there is to anything else. But then after a while, it becomes very rote, and you become very used to it, and you know how to navigate the sales, you know what to buy, what not to buy, and it becomes very fluid.
Well,
go ahead.
The beauty with paleo too is it forces you to cook more, right? The prices start to add up when, I love me some Siete chips and, Sir Kensington's mayo, all these things, but
it doesn't get much better than that.
No, they're my favorite. But then, I use that as a treat, but it's like the budget kind of mindset, get zucchinis, get cauliflower, butter, you know what I mean? Like, you could make it cheap, right? It doesn't all have to be prepared, or, because I'll be the first to admit, paleo, like a lot of that type of food is expensive, like the boxed and the pre-made. So there's ways around it to save money.
And I think if we're eating the regular diet and we're eating a lot of packaged foods, and you compare them and you find ways to shop and shop smart, you really end up sometimes even ahead of the game eating paleo. So what about people who say, I have a sweet tooth, this is really hard for me because I like my sweets? How do you answer to that?
I would say, especially now, like maybe a few years ago, it was tough. But if you look at like Sweet Laurel, like her book, my mom's addicted to it. Like everything in there is beautiful. You know what I mean? And this is literally paleo stuff, using monk fruit sugar, almond flour, coconut flour. It's a new game. It's not like before where Tiger Nut flour, cassava flour, where the stuff didn't exist. You could find it. And it's literally like tastes the same, using monk fruit sugar, stevia, what have you.
It really does. It really does. It's very, very different than when I started, when I was in this game at the very beginning. It was very much harder to find ingredients. So I have to ask you, I'd like to get into the cooking because I know people really want to see how you're making this dish. But I have to say, I love matcha lattes. I love them. And before we get on to cooking the meal, I know that you have one on your Instagram page. What is the secret to making a really good matcha? Because guys, you start your day with a matcha and you feel like you are on fire. It is the best way. You feel very stable, but yet you feel like you got energy. And I love it. What's your secret?
Oh man, spilling the secrets. I guess for you, I could share. So the biggest thing with matcha, it's you gotta splurge a little bit, right? Because there's a culinary grade, and then there's a ceremonial grade. You want to get that ceremonial grade. So even Sprouts has one called Aya. Amazon has a few good options that I could always send you links later that you could share. But that's tip number one. Like if you cheap out on a matcha, it's going to be disgusting.
Yeah.
Tip number two is a lot of people will use boiling water, right? So they'll kind of cover the matcha with boiling water. It's a huge no-no. Like matcha is very delicate. It's literally like baby, green tea leaves that are covered. So hence why it's so expensive, because they're hand picking them. So you don't want to ruin it. So I literally, I can show you, I have ThermoPro. So literally every morning I'm checking the temperature of the water to exactly 175.
Oh my goodness, that's the key, huh?
That's the key. And say if you don't have that, you know, just have the water heating up. I do about 1/3 cup for every like teaspoon and a half matcha. Just have like a light simmer and then kill the heat. So that's around like 175, 180. I do a homemade almond milk as well. So I do have YouTube videos for the matcha latte almond milk, but that's really creating like a barista vibe. So I'm using dates, Himalayan pink sea salt, almonds, you know, vanilla extract. So, you know, because I intermittent fast.
Conversing about this because I want this. I want to know how to make perfect matcha. And then he's going to come on a quick fire, guys, and he's going to make matcha for us.
Yeah, let's do it.
What a wonderful day. So let's get into this. I know you have a great dish tonight. Tell me about the dish that you're going to make for us tonight. And here's what I like about it, guys. It's a one-pot dish. And you have to really start learning about these one-pot dishes because you can make them really fast. You can make them inexpensively. And if you have kids at home or you've got a lot going on, it's just the most ideal way to cook. So tell us what you're going to make for us tonight. Exactly.
Yeah. It's been the biggest feedback I've gotten from my audience is, you know, everyone is busy and, you know, this is obviously my career, right? So I'm constantly thinking of creative recipes. Mm-hmm. A lot of the feedback's like, I love that, but let's get some easy stuff, right? Let's get some quick, you know, night stuff.
Yeah.
So I've been really designing a lot of one pan, one pot dishes that you could throw together. It's delicious. So this one tonight's gonna be a one pan shrimp and sausage, like vegetable saute. So it's got a little Cajun vibe to it. You know, you're getting your protein with the shrimp, with the sausage. You got a whole mix of vegetables in there. You could serve it over mashed potatoes, cauliflower rice. So it's a very like versatile dish. You could kind of, you know, do some tweaks, but it comes together quick. So should we fire it up?
Let's fire it up, baby. We are ready.
If you say so.
Yeah.
And I'll throw some tips in there too. So
yep, please do.
Yeah. So I mean, number one, for this dish, I use a 12-inch pan. I'm just doing like a non-stick. A lot of the biggest things why home cooks, their dishes don't turn out that tasty. One of the biggest reasons is heat. They're using, you know, medium heat. They're not heating up the pan enough. They're not getting a sear. So step one with this, like you want a hot pan. Like I want a nice sear on the sausage. That's going to break down the fat in there. I want a sear on the shrimp, get some color on it, on the veggies. So I'm going to fire it up to like a medium high. And then we're going to let that go for a little bit. And I'll walk you through a little bit. So I'm using Peterson's sausage. It's just like a kielbasa. I'm doing half of kielbasa. The beauty of here is like, exactly, is that you can make this your own in the sense, like say if you like spicy, there's so many spicy kielbasas. Peterson's is great because it tastes like the real deal, but all the ingredients are perfect, no sugar. So I love it. So I'm using that. I'm using, you'll be happy with this one, my friend, little Bone Broth.
Oh, you
So
know,
that's gonna,
you know,
oh yeah.
Seasons everything.
Exactly. So then I got some red and yellow bell pepper. So I just did like a nice kind of big dice on that. Doing some zucchini. Little pro tip for you. Especially doing sautés, I like a half moon slice. So all that basically, exactly. So you cut the ends off. If it's like a bigger zucchini, this one calls for like one large zucchini or like two kind of medium size. You're going to cut that in half. Lengthwise, you're going to cut it again. And then you just slice half moon. So you'll notice, like say if you go to Asian restaurants, they'll always have it this slice because you get nice color on it. It, you know, it heats up pretty quick. Then we're doing shallot. I love shallot.
Me too.
So that's like, yeah, one shallot minced and some garlic minced. So you could see it's all natural foods, but when, you know, it's combined together, the flavor is going to be great.
Yeah.
Last but not least, we got the shrimp. So I'm doing about like pound and a half of shrimp here, deveined. I made a little Creole spice mix. So by just doing some Old Bay, did some garlic powder, and what else we got in there? A little cumin. Love.
Can you
some
buy,
cumin.
when you buy the shrimp, can you just buy them in those frozen bags? Will that do?
Oh yeah, that's another pro tip. You see, you got a lot of pro tips yourself right there. Yeah, I mean, all basically, like say if you go to Sprouts, all they're doing, they're literally taking the frozen shrimp and defrosting it, right? So it's coming frozen. Frozen's actually freshest. So, and a lot of times
It's already deveined. You don't have to go through all that kind of stuff. You can just buy it like good to go, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So no, I think that's a great call. Yeah, do frozen shrimp. Literally, just run it over some cool water. It's gonna defrost in like 5 minutes. So.
Okay, just by the way, everyone, we are posting this recipe. Make sure you know that we're posting it on our Instagram and our Facebook, so you'll have it after the event. And I'm sure once you see this, you're gonna want it. So let's get started. So you get the pan.
Let's do it.
How do you know the pan's hot enough?
So right here, I just call it my hand test. So a lot of chefs do this. You don't want to be able to like hold it there that much longer. Smell as too. But yeah, you can see I could feel it getting hot. So again, when you're doing sautés, anything high heat, always go avocado oil.
So I want everyone to really pay attention to that. That's very important. Different oils have smoke points. Yep. And this one, avocado oil, this is my new favorite oil. When I first started coming out with my books and such, I would always recommend coconut. There was a downside though. The downside to coconut is that everything you cook it with takes on the flavor of coconut. But I loved it because it was a high heat oil. But now with avocado oil, I love it because, it doesn't do that. And it has a really nice creamy, kind of a creamy consistency to it almost. I love it.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm just going to throw in about like a tablespoon there. Yeah, get a nice swirl. And then we get that sausage in.
Do you ever worry about with the sausage, do you ever worry about too much salt or anything like that? Or is there a way that you can get like reduced salt, or how does that work?
That's why I like Peterson's. The salt contents, because it's not like too processed. So it's not too salty. Yeah, and keep in mind, since you're doing all the other vegetables, that salt content's going to give some good flavor. So we're just going to throw that in. When you hear that sizzle?
I love Peter's. That is a really good brand, by the way. Stacy, you should write that. You should write that in the chat box because I do really love that brand. They have good products.
So yeah, we're just gonna let this sizzle. And a lot of times with cooking, one of the biggest tips is like just let it do its thing. So many people want to be moving and grooving. You're not going to develop a crust, flavor, anything going that route. So something like this, I'm going to let it hang out for like a minute or two. We'll flip it, start to get that color going. And once we get a nice brown on it, we're going to remove it. Biggest tip being leaving the oil in the pan. So then we're going to saute the vegetables in there. It's going to be delicious.
So so again, to know when this is done, I mean, my whole thing is, not cooking it too fast because I'm always wanting to get things done. So really getting it at the right temperature. And then how do you know exactly when to get it off that pan? Like,
exactly.
Is there a color that we look for?
Yeah, so we want just like a nice brown. So I'll show you here once we get it developed.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing with browning, it's going to take at least a few minutes, especially when we're doing sausage. So, yeah, it's done by smell. Obviously, you don't want it burning. So if you, like, say, for everyone watching, like if you throw it in the pan, it's going crazy, just put the heat down. You know what I mean? You want just a nice, mellow kind of sear going.
And if you get a higher quality, like you would with that brand, that you actually get a lot of omega-3 fatty acids in there too.
Exactly.
People don't know that, but with kielbasa and smoked sausage, you do get a lot of fatty, the good kind of fats.
So you could see here, you see how it's starting to get some color to it?
Yep.
Yeah. Because keep in mind, like sausage, especially kielbasa, it's already cooked, right? So all we're trying to do is get that color, get that fat out. By no means do we want to burn this. So it happens quick.
Yeah, you have to do that little trick where you pick the skillet up and you turn them over, right?
Oh yeah, the little hand trick. So yeah, we're getting close here. And then basically all we're going to do, saute the vegetables in that fat. And here's another tip I want a lot of people to understand, because it's very important. A lot of home cooks go wrong here. It's seasoning in layers, right? So what I mean by that is when I remove the sausage and put the vegetables in, I'm going to do a little layer of salt and pepper, right? So then when I put the zucchini in, I season in layers. A lot of home cooks think you're going to over season that way, but all you're doing is building that flavor, right? Because you never want to season all at once. That's when you get kind of overly salty pepper. So that's a tip. You know, I watched a ton of cooking shows growing up. I still do.
And
Every
they
chef
do that. They build the seasons. The seasoning.
Every chef, that's their number one tip. Season layers, always, always, always. So I'm going to remove this. Got some really nice color on there. Remember, I'm using tongs, right? Because that's going to save all that oil into the pan.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Did you know that sausage is high in magnesium too?
Wow, that's
magnesium.
Magnesium. Good pro tip. Yeah. All right, beautiful.
Yeah, that looks delicious.
I'm hungry. I might just stop here, eat this whole bowl of sausage.
I'm telling you, I'm waiting for. I want to pull that out right from the screen. I'm having that with my stevia tonight. We're having the coffee.
Right. All right, so now we're gonna get these vegetables in. So remember, I got that, you know, the one red pepper, one yellow pepper. I'm gonna get the zucchini in as well.
Oh, so you throw all those in at the same time. Okay.
Exactly. Because again, like when I designed this dish, I was thinking, how can I make it the easiest way possible, right? So right here, again, like another chef thinking, I use diamond salt. I also love like a Himalayan pink sea salt.
Me too. I like the pink and gray salts.
Exactly. Yeah, you always want to season up, right? Because then you get the surface area nicely. So I'm just going to give a nice little sprinkle. And I'm going to get a little pepper in there as well.
You have to have pepper.
Always. Yeah, you want to just give that a nice toss, like so. So you can use the tongs as well. I've had a lot of practice.
That already looks absolutely delicious.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I have a piece of trivia about the zucchini. The zucchini,
Ooh.
you know that it's actually classified botanically as a fruit. I did not know that. Yeah, zucchini. Yes. And also, in folk medicine, they have used it for colds for forever. So zucchini is good for colds, and it's actually botanically classified as a fruit. And cooked zucchini actually it's a great source of vitamin A and a lot of other good minerals, but it has a good source of vitamin A that actually, when you cook it, more of the vitamin A comes out. So raw zucchini has actually less vitamin A than the cooked stuff. So
interesting.
Yeah, you're getting a lot of good stuff, and I see a lot of good colors there, and I love eating plates that are nice and colorful.
Exactly. No, I'm the same way. So I wanted to, again, like get that Creole kind of vibe. So you're thinking peppers and a lot of these fun flavors. So that's kind of how I designed this dish. You could start to see, I'm starting to get some color on the zucchini, little bit. And same thing here. I hate mushy vegetables. You know, a lot of home cooks overcook the vegetables.
Yes.
You know, they're going to continue to cook a little bit outside the pan too. So we don't have to go crazy here. In the recipe,
another thing I always have questions with, chef, if I can interrupt. Sorry about that.
No worries.
You dumped all those in at once. It's kind of hard to determine because we talked about the soggy vegetables, and I don't like that. I like food very al dente. So how do you know when to throw what in? You just threw all those together. Is there some kind of trick that we can use that we know?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I mean, like if you're looking, again, this is a specific dish. So like I know the way the peppers are cut, the way the zucchini is cut, it's going to cook similar times. Now I want the peppers to be a little crunchy, right? But if you're looking at say, other dishes, if you're doing sautés of your own, stir fries,
Yeah.
always do harder vegetables first, right? So if you're doing carrots or butternut squash or those types of things, throw those in the pan, right? And then kind of get your onions in, always garlic, kind of shallot, that stuff last. But you never do that at the same time, or it's going to be burnt. So yeah, always stagger, but it's obviously dependent on, type of vegetable dish you're cooking.
Yes.
Yeah, always stagger. So look at this. That's what we want to see. See, it's
That
getting
looks
nice and
beautiful.
brown. So right when we see that, I'm just going to add it back to the bowl. So we're going to remove all the vegetables and think about all the flavor that's in the pan right now, right? So then we're going to get the shrimp going.
And that's a different bowl than you have the sausage in, right? Or is the sausage in there too?
Yeah, no, this is the bowl I had the vegetables in. So yeah, I'm just going to add it back in, save the cleanup, right? We're doing an easy late night dinner. Beautiful.
Oh, that is beautiful.
Thank you. Oh, it smells great. So again, another tip is we want to get a nice sear on the shrimp, right? So we were just cooking in the pan. So, give it a little bit to heat up. I'm going to put a little more oil in as well. Then we're going to get a nice sear on that shrimp. So
I'm learning tonight that order is very important. The order in which you cook them in these dishes. That is
extremely
something I need to think more about, because I just hodgepodge everything. But you have to be a little more deliberate, I think.
Exactly. So again, doing about a tablespoon. And just a good way to tell, you just want to get a nice swirl in the pan. You want it to be coated. Again, do the hand test, right? I could feel it's pretty hot. And another tip is just start with one, right? Literally take one shrimp, touch it, it's already searing, so dump them in. And with shrimp, I want to do a single layer here.
Okay.
Because again, we want a nice sear, right? So this, you don't want to get lazy and just dump them. Be careful with kind of where you're putting them. And
I like shrimp because it's got omega-3s in there, and it's got a nice protein in there.
Exactly. Oh, I wish you could smell this. This, the Old Bay's coming out, the garlic.
Oh,
smells so good. The cumin. I use a spice grinder as well. So I love to get.
You use a spice
grinder. So it's actually like a coffee spice grinder. That's nice because Whole Foods, Sprouts, they have the spices where you could just get them for how much you need, right? You could get the little plastic bag, pour in the whole spices. So instead of buying a whole jar, you could blend them up yourself, and then it tastes insane.
I swear you can have the same thing every night if you just played around with spices. Spices might make or break the dish. And for those people who are trying to cut weight, or they're eating, in a new way, spices are everything. They really make a big, big difference in compliance. That's what I found. And I love cumin because it's great for digestion. So I love adding it to food.
Yep. Yeah, to your point, each spice, especially turmeric and a lot of these spices are so good for you. And the flavor. So look at that. It's only been like a minute, already some gorgeous color. So I'm going to flip these. Shrimp cook in like 3 to 5 minutes, depending on the size. So this step, we don't want to cook in too long. So yeah, just toss them. So now what we're going to do, I got some grass-fed butter. I'm going to do about a tablespoon in there.
Butter, another thing. When you get a really good form of butter, like grass-fed butter, I have to say it really makes a big difference in your dish. And if you're not eating a lot of carbs, you don't have to be afraid of it. You just can't have carbs and that. That's the recipe for disaster.
Exactly. So if you just saw, I put the garlic and shallot in there. So it's going to cook with that butter. It's going to cook with that shrimp. I'm doing a touch more of oil. And this, again, is getting the sauce going, right? We're doing the basis of the sauce. Oh yeah. And like I was saying earlier, the garlic and the shallot cooks quick, right? So we're not going to be cooking this for too long, probably like a minute or two. Yeah.
That looks delicious. And again, guys, for those that are just joining now, this is a one-pot dish, which I love. You can see how he's making all of this in the same pot. So easy, delicious. There's a lot of health benefits in everything he made. And I'm sure if we were standing there, we would be saying, Chef Dave, this smells incredible.
I appreciate that. It's smelling pretty tasty. So again, right, we have our cooked vegetables. So we got good color on the shrimp. So I'm gonna get the vegetables back in. We're gonna get the sausage back in as well. Oh yeah. Woo! So yeah, mix that up. Wow. Yeah, I'm excited.
That is not in front of me right now. We did not arrange this well.
I know. I feel bad.
Producer, because I should have figured out a way that you made this right in front of me, because this is torture.
Next time, I promise. So now we're gonna I have 1/4 cup of bone broth. So that's gonna create like a nice little glaze on there.
Now, do I need to tell you all about bone broth? Because I know they're thinking, oh, boy, she's just gonna go now. She's just gonna go. She saw bone broth, and she's gonna start.
Give them a little something. Yeah.
I love bone broth, adding it into dishes like this, guys. I actually keep them in ice cube trays, and I pop them in different dishes as I need them. Anything that requires water, any dishes that I'd like to add a little bit of water, I add the bone broth instead, and it just hops up the nutritional value and content. And it's great for your intestinal lining, so you're getting a food that's really low in inflammation and great for your gut and digestion.
Exactly. So yeah, you could already see, again, like we're not using, too much bone broth because we want a nice little glaze.
Yes,
right? So
just a little glaze.
Yeah, just a little glaze. So another chef's secret, butter equals flavor, right? Again, I'm using a very good quality butter. So I'm gonna put in like a little more, and that, the butter really helps bring the sauce together. So we're just gonna do a little more butter in there. Kind of like a half tablespoon. And you'll see, I also reduce the heat, right? We want this on a nice simmer. Shrimp's cooked, everything's cooked. We don't need to continue cooking. But reducing that heat and letting it simmer, it's just gonna bring everything together, right? We added in the vegetables, the sausage. We kind of want everyone to hang out, meet each other.
What do you think about cast iron skillets?
I love them. There's a learning curve though, right? So you gotta know how to use them, right? Same thing with cast iron. Like I'll set a timer when I'm using a cast iron for like 10 minutes. Let it just heating it on the stove by itself, right? A cast iron, you're not firing the heat and starting to cook. It's going to stick that way. It's not really going to get good color or anything. So especially searing, again, depending what I'm making, I'll use cast iron, but you got to just be careful. So that's why there's so many good like non-stick pans out there now that aren't that bad for you, like the kind of chemicals they're using. Some green pan, and there's some brands out there, no chemicals at all.
Green pan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So green pan's another thing, Stacey.
Yeah, I want to show you.
How do you stop the zucchini from tasting bitter? If I can ask that, Chef, it looks amazing. How do we stop the zucchini from tasting bitter?
Again, like I think just proper seasoning and cooking technique. I think zucchini's a type of vegetable that is very easy to overcook. So cooking it quick, right? It's just a few minutes. What we did today, right? A little butter, a little oil, a nice seasoning mix. Like it's going to taste delicious.
Yes.
And now that we're on the zucchini topic, especially with zoodles, a lot of people kind of just throw them in the pan. They think it's a done deal. The sauce is watery, right? It happens a lot. So what I like to do is when I have my zoodles, I put it on a, like a cutting board, paper towel underneath. I put my zoodles and I season it with salt.
Oh.
right? I put paper towel on top. The salt's going to bring the moisture out. So literally I let it sit for about 20 minutes. And then, after the 20 minutes, it's already seasoned, right? I just saute it real quick. No moisture is lost. So that's another good way to kind of prep the zucchini.
I love that. See, I love these little tips. What do you think about the Wonder Noodles? Have you tried
Wonder, is that the shirataki?
It's not shirataki. It's, what is it? Konjac.
I've tried it. I'm a texture guy though. So like I hate when I don't like foods, right? That's not my thing. But, I've tried with oysters, mussels, clams. Like I'm a texture guy.
Yep.
So yeah, like those, I've tried making them. They're not bad, but I just can't get over that kind of texture.
What do you think the best kind of pasta, the pasta substitute, so to speak? Is there any pastas besides the spirals? And what I mean by that is the zucchini, the squash, which I love. I love making that over bolognese. I love it. But what do you recommend for noodles for people?
Capellos.
Yeah, Capello.
Yeah, so Capello. It's a paleo for those of you watching don't know. It's paleo. So they make pizzas. They make gnocchi, pastas. It's delicious. Cooks up super quick. Literally has that little bit of bite, that like an al dente pasta is gonna have. So every now and then I'll treat myself.
I have the gnocchis. I love those. So Capelli's guys, I love those. And we talked about before in the beginning of the segment, we talked about satay chips. We love those.
Yeah.
What was the thing we talked about? A cheese or something? The cashew cheese. What cashew cheese do you like?
Cashew cheese. Yeah, there's a brand. I can't think of it. Well, have you had Bitch and Dave sauce?
No, it's really good though, right?
Oh, it's incredible. Some of the ingredients I'm not crazy about. There's another brand, I can't think of it, but it's all cashew cheese based. They have like a queso, like a hummus. It's incredible. So I'm always trying to find, options like that to kind of, treat myself.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm doing like a Whole30 or strict paleo. It's always fun. And that's what's cool. Like we were talking about earlier, it's a new day and age, right? There's so many brands now that it's just, you look at the ingredient label. I don't look at nutrition facts. I only look at the ingredient labels.
I'm the same way. That's great advice. Deborah, Siete chips, SIETA, Siete chips. They're next level, my friend.
Oh, they're so good. Yeah, I love them. Yeah, they're doing some big things right now. They're coming out with like sauces. They got spice mixes now because you look at some of these spice mixes, it's just so much crap in it, right? So they're changing the game with.
They're changing the game. They're getting it done.
Yeah. So look at this. So that's it.
Oh,
that's it.
That looks unbelievable. Can you put it closer to the camera even?
For sure. Yeah.
Okay, so you see this? So let's talk a little bit about what he did. He put this in, he used one pot. Is that a cast iron that you're using, Chef, or what are you using?
Yeah, this is just a non-stick, 12-inch non-stick. It's
12-inch non-stick.
Yeah.
Okay. And he used avocado oil in the pan. He got the temperature just right. The first thing that he put in was the sausage. The brand of the sausage that he loves, which is what, Dave?
Peterson's
sausage. You can
find them in Sprouts, Whole Foods, everywhere.
Whole Foods, pretty much everywhere. They're very high quality. He puts those in first. After he's done getting those just right, just a little brown, perfect. They look perfect. He took them out. He put them in a bowl. And then the next thing he put in the pan, I don't remember, did you put more oil into the pan after you took the sausage?
Pretty much. The sausage is going to release that oil. So you're kind of good there. Yeah, just dump the peppers in, the zucchini. If it does feel a little dry, obviously, some people might be using like a different sausage. Yeah, you could just add in a little avocado oil, right? So just kind of, do it by your judgment. But yeah, I kind of just dumped them in.
And then he did the vegetables after he sauteed the vegetables very beautifully, all great colors. And he got them just right. He got the zucchini. He cuts the zucchini in what way do you cut the zucchini? Do you recommend?
half moon slice.
Half
So,
moon slice, and yeah, so we're gonna have to have you come on and teach us how to slice and cut.
exactly.
That's for
Oh,
recipes.
yeah.
I think that's very important. That's a really actually important part of cooking, is getting the
Big
cut
time.
chopping right. So then after he
Big
got
time.
the vegetables done, he took those out, he put them in a separate bowl, and then he cooked the shrimp. He cooked them for a very short time, actually. It's about 3 minutes. Am I right?
Yep.
He cooked them for about 3 minutes. And then after he was done with cooking the shrimp, you put everything else back in. Is that right?
Exactly. Yeah. And then, your favorite bone broth, right? We're going to kind of deglaze the pan, create that flavor, a little grass-fed butter. Last thing, again, I got the Instagram page where I'm always thinking looks. So you want fresh ingredients as well, right? We sauteed all of this. So I have a little parsley, little Italian parsley. So I like to just give a nice, brightens up the dish a little bit. So yeah, you could see here.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a wrap.
Put that as close as you can to the camera.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'll get you guys in there.
Okay, that is a beautiful plate. That was so easy. And I am telling you, if you eat this way, you will be shocked at how your body transforms. Talk a little bit about your own personal transformation, Chef.
Yeah, I would say what's been nice with this kind of journey is, like I said, I was your classic yo-yo diet person, right? I was always in, pretty good shape. I did like MMA on and off. I work out regularly, but I'd get hit with the weight fluctuations. And your classic New Year's person, right? Meaning, all right, Jan 1st, I'm doing blah, blah, blah. That average, as you probably know, it's like 3 weeks where people give up on their resolutions. So that was always me. Like I would lose the weight, right? And I'm like, oh, I get to treat myself for a week, right? And I would, just binge eat, go out to eat, eat whatever. And then the weight would come back, right? Then I was like, all right, I got to do something else, right? So it kind of kept this cycle. So then finally, when I got into paleo, it was a game changer. I fell in love with cooking again. I was cooking, almost nightly, right? So I was eating natural foods. The problem though, is I think a lot of people doing, vegetarians, vegans, keto, I think, especially for paleo, I call it the paleo police, right? The paleo police come out in the sense, you tell your friends, your family, you're feeling good that you're doing paleo. The minute you have like a cheeseburger or pizza, they're like, oh, that's not paleo. Caveman didn't eat that. You kind of get like, you know what I mean? Like,
you get pushback. And that's where you have to be a true leader, guys. This is what you have to know, how to talk to friends, family, as you're making these transformations. And you have to let your body, your own transformation, speak for itself. Because I remember when I first started getting into this, I had such a high level of enthusiasm that I wanted everybody else. And you can't do that. You have to lead by example. And, and know what to say. I'm just eating a diet that works right for me. For the first time in my life, I feel amazing, and I found it to be delicious and easier than ever, and I'm just going to keep going. And you know what? Every once in a while, I can have a little something that's not completely on target, but I don't really go off the rails that much anymore because I love how I feel. And you know what?
Exactly.
So these kind of explanations, they really start to happen more and more as you become more authentic to your eating.
Well, and you'll have, the counter argument I would hear a lot, especially, college, and would be, well, we're all going to die, right? I want to eat what I want. But usually those are the same people that feel terrible, right? They're whining at 2 o'clock how exhausted they are. They're reaching for the coffee. So then it comes to the point of like, what's the point, right? If you keep eating that way, you're feeling like this, are you enjoying your life fully, right? So that was hence how I got hit with the Paleoish concept, right? I said, you know what, maybe I'm going to stop saying I'm doing paleo, but I'm doing Paleoish, right? So it started with the Instagram, right? I downloaded my Paleoish Life, handle. And I was like, screw it. Like, I showed the non-paleo side, right? It started catching on quick. Like people really appreciate the realness. So when I saw that, I was like,
let me ask you a question, because we're getting a lot of questions to this. Can you eat paleo as a vegetarian, or can you spin paleo into a vegetarian dish?
Well, that's the Paleoish, right? So especially when the site goes live, I'm really trying to build a community, because eventually, like when you look at Paleoish, right, it's two parts. At the foundation, it's natural paleo, right? Focus on eating natural foods. And I think that's for everyone, right? Even keto, focus on the natural kind of, vegetables you could have, the greens and, stuff with low carbs.
Yeah, because that's a big misconception. People think paleo
Yeah.
is a slab of meat. Paleo,
Exactly.
straighten this out. I've written, 9 books, all of which have some kind of paleo bent to them, all of them. And I will tell you firsthand, it is not about a slab of meat. So if you're thinking, how could I ever do that? Because it's not. It really isn't. It's about, let me explain what my opinion, and you can tell me what you think, Dave. I think paleo is all about teaching people the food groups and what are the best foods to eat within those food groups. That's really what it is. These are the foods that work best with your body in each food group. And I just learned, oh gosh, the fats. Here are the fats I should be eating. Oh, okay, these are the best fats. That's not the fats I used to use. Great. These are the best proteins for you. This is the highest level of protein you can eat. If you can afford these proteins, eat this protein. Same thing with carbs. Well, carbs, there's 2 lanes to it. Here's your greens, you need the fibers, and here's your energy carbs, have those. So really just, I felt, was the best way to approach people as someone who does nutrition to say, I'm going to break this all down for you. These are the foods that make the most sense in each food category. And then the cooking became so fun. The cooking was so fun for people that they just got really rallied into it.
Exactly. Yeah, no, you hit the nail on the head. And that's why the big thing I'm trying to do is, especially like, say, when you go to the bout site, once the site goes live, it's a lot of concepts where everyone could understand, right? Natural. I think so many people, right? We talked about the New Year's resolution people, and right, they overwhelm themselves, right? All right, I'm doing boom, 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 boom. And they're like, oh, a week in, they drop it. So like with this, it's like, eat those natural foods, but the ish concept, which is unique. And this ish concept could be applied to vegetarians, keto, this and that, right? Who have these police come out. The ish concept is all about you, right? Everyone's different, right? So I might want pizza, right? That's my thing. Your thing's ice cream, right? Like we're all different. So the whole premise of Paleoish is eat natural foods. Don't beat yourself up when you're not perfect. Like find what that balance looks like, right? If that's going bowling night every Tuesday, and eating chili fries or whatever, you know what I mean? Or like do that, but don't feel bad about it. Just the next day, keep kind of going about your lifestyle. And I think that's where people fall off the bandwagon. They have one bad day. And that's why I don't call it a cheat day, right? It's an ish day, because an ish day can mean you might just want a little bowl of ice cream, right? Your whole day was perfectly paleo, right? But the minute you say a cheat day, it's like, all right, I need to binge eat. I got to go all day at this. And I think that's when it gets.
It's not a cheat. It's a choice. Once you learn the principles, it's not a cheat. It's a choice. We are down to about 2 minutes here. So Chef, I have loved this. You are such a pleasure. So passionate about what you're doing. So kind. And I really appreciate your contribution this evening. If there's anything that you want everyone to know in the last 2 minutes, what would you like to share with everyone?
Yeah, I would say, just don't beat yourself up. I think you got to start somewhere. Everyone's at different places and change is going to come, right? I think it's more of a long-term play. Everyone's thinking short-term minded, right? I want the quickest way about this, quickest way to lose the weight. I think naturally, right, back to the natural concept, all that stuff's going to happen naturally if you just eat the natural foods, right? You find a workout or a passion, if it's yoga or what have you, that you do that regularly. Like once the lifestyle starts to unravel, when you get everything together, right? So it's kind of, I would leave with that, in the sense of you don't have to be perfect. And that's really what I'm trying to change is that mindset, right? I think it's a mindset shift. Yeah.
Don't try to be perfect. And then sign off with, what is your absolute favorite cooking product, whether it's an ingredient or a product, and what is your favorite tip? Favorite cooking tip, favorite product.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. Yeah. I would say favorite cooking product, probably my Vitamix. You could do so much in that, especially the smoothies, the sauces. Even kind of nice cream, right? It's just like a healthier ice cream, frozen bananas. And I think a good blender is very important. It's very underrated. So I would probably say the Vitamix, to be honest.
Yeah,
and then favorite
that's a really good one.
Yeah, I would say, we went over a good amount of tips today. But to finish, it would be substitutions, right? So I'll be a little more specific. Potato starch, arrowroot, flour. Like, you have these options now to where literally, like, I've made gravies, paleo gravies that taste better than the real thing. Pan sauces, it's scary at first, right, with home cooks, but it's like you have these types of ingredients where you could have the real deal things, right, with sauces, even Alfredos, right? I've done kind of cauliflower Alfredos. So I would say that kind of learning, I want to, do better at sharing, some of those kind of options where some people might not have ever heard of potato starch or know how to use it, but to show them kind of like, here's a few things you could do, and it's going to blow your mind. So,
well, I'm waiting for my Alfredo, because I have not had Alfredo since I started paleo. So I'm waiting for that. And I am really looking forward to having you on again. Please tell everyone where they can find you, Chef.
Yeah, so come find me at my Paleoish Life on Instagram. And then I would say 1 or 2 months, the website's going to be live. So that's going to be paleoish.com. And it's going to be fun. So we'll do some cooking again soon.
Absolutely. We certainly wish you the best, and we look forward to having you on again. So everyone, I hope you enjoyed tonight's presentation. We made a great dish tonight. There'll be many more. Please join us again on Thursday evening, where we have our deep dive, and every day, of course, at noon for our rapid fire. So we are signing off with all the peace, all the love, hoping and wishing you the very best week. Until next time, thank you.